Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Ground Pass podcast. This is going to be a mini pod like we promised last week. We're going to keep these coming. So this is going to be short and sweet, recapping the last bits of Madrid and looking forward to Rome. I have my notes over here. So if you see me looking to the side, that is what I'm looking at. And yeah, Madrid is over. It was a great tournament. I always enjoy Madrid. We'll talk about the men's final because that wasn't that enjoyable, but everything else was pretty enjoyable. Before I go forward, I wanted to mention our merch store. If you didn't know, we sell merch to help support the podcast. Last year, we came out with a summer tee, which was of all the tournaments we went to during the summer, or I went to during the summer. And this year, we have released our spring tee. It is available for pre-order up until May 11th. And it has the drawings of all the tournaments that I was able to attend this spring. It's kind of a little bit of a commemorative shirt of the 2026 spring season. It looks like a little bit of a Pirates map vibe. But yeah, it's actually funny. The idea for it came from a video that I made almost 2 years ago, I think now, where it was basically a reel where I was describing where the tournaments go to in the spring. That video came out and it was on our Instagram for a while. And then last summer, I thought, oh, wow, wouldn't that be cool to make into a shirt? And it's been a hit. People love the shirt. So I thought it would be cool to bring it back for this spring. We also have some hats. We have a blue navy, what I'm calling a tournament hat, because I am hoping that it becomes sort of a staple of our store where we bring it back in multiple different colors, but it'll always be the same. It will be the little tennis ball and ticket on the front of the hat, and then it just says Ground Pass on the back. So it's not in your face podcast merch, which I know sometimes can be a thing where you're sort of like you're wearing the name of a podcast on your shirt. And kind of that's how I've approached our merch a little bit. So not too in your face podcast merch, but I think a nice commemorative way to celebrate the tennis tour and also help support the podcast. And finally, we do have one special limited edition shirt that we dropped this weekend. Guys, it has been a busy weekend, but I'm sure you all know now or have at least seen the photo of Hailey Baptiste breaking the racket on her leg. And I remember when that photo first came out, I texted her and I was like, oh my God, you've got to like frame this photo and keep it for yourself. And then we started getting a lot of messages on our off-season Threads account, actually saying, oh my goodness, you guys should totally make this into a poster. You should make this into, a shirt or something. And if you're wondering why people were saying that, if you don't know, we do have a documentary series called Off-Season where Hailey is one of the featured athletes. And I thought about it and I was like, okay, how hard can this be? What do you need to do to get the rights to the photo? It's a Getty photo, so you have to reach out to Getty. I talked to Hailey as well because you obviously have to get the permission from the subject of the photo as well. And Hailey immediately was down for it. She was sort of like, she wanted to see the design. She saw it and she was like, oh my gosh, I want it all in black. So that was the first step. Second step was Getty. And I thought that would be the hardest actually, because I thought, I'm like a tiny podcast. Like I'm not Nike. How hard will it be for me to reach out to Getty and get a response? And how long will it take? It was immediate. They respond to you so quickly. So once all that was settled, we were able to launch this limited edition tee. And when I tell you limited, it's limited. It's in the store till May 11th. After May 11th, that's it. It's done. Not printing it out again. I don't want to hear it because I just know now, but I don't want to hear it. If when you see it on Hailey, I get messages and people are like, oh my God, I want that tee. No, you have been forewarned. She's hoping to have it by Roland Garros and wear it when she's practicing and things like that. But I don't want to hear it if after that fact, it's like, oh, can I get the shirt? It's not going to be available. So that's your warning. Links to our store, obviously, in the description of this podcast. But let's talk about Madrid. So I think one of the biggest breakthrough stories of Madrid was Hailey Baptiste. We have to start there. Hailey Baptiste defeated world number one Aryna Sabalenka to get to the semifinals of the tournament. And boy, what a match it was. They had literally just played in Miami this past year. So she did have experience playing Aryna before, but it's a different surface, different conditions. And Aryna definitely came out hot. Like after that first set, I was like, this is going to be a tough one. But Hailey is the 3-set queen. She has been proving this whole season that she's in it to win it and is willing to dig deep and play the long game. She definitely, one of the things she talked about in off season was how she was coming into this new season trying to be fitter, working on her fitness. And it has proven to be such a good tactic because it's what has gotten her through a lot of matches and has now gotten her to her highest ever ranking. We talked about in our last podcast episode that she probably was going to be seeded at Roland Garros, but yeah, she is top 25 now in the world and is definitely going to be seeded in Roland Garros and is actually even seeded in Rome as well. She had a really, really great tournament getting to the semis of a 1000 level event, the first time she'd ever gotten to a semi of a 1000 level event. And I think it's just the beginning. Her training is working, her new coaching team, Will Woodall, who is her coach in the box with her, it's just really working for her. And she just has such a close team in Rome. No, not in, well, in Rome too, she actually does, but in Madrid and now also in Rome, Franklin Tiafoe, who is Frances Tiafoe's brother, who was her coach before, but they separated at the end of last season, is back in the box. So it's really cool, I think, for Hailey to have basically what are two brothers to her. She's known Will and Franklin since they were little, and having those two people, I think, has really helped her focus on her mental game and her tennis game, and it's definitely showing on court. So interested to see how she does in Rome. The final in Madrid was against Marta Kostyuk and Mirra Andreeva. Two actually. It's one of those things where in hindsight, you're like, oh, I should have known that that was going to be what the final was going to be. Both have excellent records on clay so far this season. Both have won a title on clay this season. Currently, spoiler alert, Marta Kostyuk won the match, is currently unbeaten on clay this season. So it definitely was, I think, a final between two of the players with the best records on clay. And it was an exciting final. It was really great to see Mirra Andreeva kind of find herself again slowly. I think last year, she had those back-to-back 1000 level events, winning Indian Wells, and things just didn't sort of click for her. And we definitely saw some outbursts from her on court and all of that. But Mirra Andreeva is finding her form again, getting to the later half of tournaments, winning titles. And in this case, obviously she didn't win. And it was pretty devastating to see her crying on court and being so sad. But here's the thing, she actually had two finals in Madrid. She was not only in the singles final, but in the doubles final. And I think that just really bodes well for Mirra Andreeva and where her future is for the rest of the season. And I think as long as she can keep it together on court, her tennis will definitely get her pretty far. Marta Kostyuk, again, is just looking phenomenal, I think, on clay. She definitely is putting her name in the sort of bucket, I think, of top players. She's now into the top 20. She has been in the top 20 before, but she slipped out of it for a while, and now she's back in the top 20 again. So I think, we'll see how it goes with her this season and if she can keep up this form, because it's been phenomenal so far. Like, she started the year off well, if we remember those matches she had in Australia. Then she got the ankle injury that took her out for a while. She came back pretty slowly, but is just soaring to the top right now. She had a pretty epic celebration where she did the backflip, which I didn't realize actually that that's something she had done before in the past, but she is a former gymnast. Like, she used to be a gymnast before she sort of focused fully on tennis. And her celebration for matches when she won the tournament has always been a backflip. I saw a lot of clips from when she was 15 and much younger doing the backflip, but she hasn't had much opportunity to do it before. And then she's doing it here because she won Rouen this year. And I do not remember seeing a backflip from her there. So obviously this is a much bigger title. So she has brought back the backflip. What else happened in Madrid? Well, Taylor Townsend and Katerina Siniakova are unbeatable. They are unbeatable at the moment. Taylor Townsend has not lost a match in doubles since Australia. They did the Sunshine Double. She won Indian Wells. She won, even before Indian Wells, she won Austin, won Indian Wells, won Miami, and now they have won Madrid. It's just so impressive. And she's also doing the thing where she's trying to up her singles game as well. So she's playing a lot of singles. She literally won Madrid, left Madrid, went to Rome, and she's playing in qualifying today in Rome. I haven't looked up the scores yet to see where it's at. It's supposed to be, actually, I think the match is coming on right about now that I'm recording. I'm recording Monday. I'm just past noon here in New York. So we will see if she's able to get into the singles draw. But in terms of doubles, that is definitely the team to beat at the moment. And also, Katerina Siniakova reclaimed the #1 title on the doubles tour, which has been held by Elise Mertens since February. But yeah, so Siniakova is back in that #1 position at the moment. And I think, yeah, Taylor is #2 as well. So it's hard. It's going to be tough for them, like trying to like see if they can go back and forth because they're doubles players. So they play together, obviously. So if they win, they're winning the same points together. So that was a great final. Women's final was great. Women's doubles final was great. Men's doubles title was won by Henry Patton and Harry Heliovara. Double H, they're looking great this year, headed into the next Grand Slam. And then we had the men. And I guess we can start with the final and work our way back because the final will be really quick because I didn't watch it. I did not watch the men's final. The Zverev and Sinner matchup is tough. I think this is Zverev's his ninth loss in a row to Jannik Sinner. And it's just not a great matchup. And he has played a competitive match against Sinner before, but it just is so far and few in between that I was not expecting much from this match. And I chose to go get a workout instead. And I remember getting out of my workout and looking at the score, and it was 6-1, 2-1. And I was like, yep, that sounds just about right. And I just don't really have anything to say about that final and matchup. I don't like non-competitive tennis matches or sports in general. So Sinner was great throughout this tournament. I think for me, I'm more worried about his longevity during this clay season. He has been on an absolute tear. Won the Sunshine Double, wins Monte Carlo, takes a bit of a break, comes to Madrid, wins Madrid. He is now in Rome, and he is the #1 seed, so he gets a first round bye. So maybe he starts playing on Friday, maybe, or Saturday, because of these 2-week events. Like he'll have some time for sure. But it's Rome, it's his home tournament. I'm sure he has tons of media and things to do around the tournament. And then there's Roland Garros. So I think for me, more I'm worried about whether he'll keep up this momentum throughout everything, because I think what we're looking forward to now is, will he be able to complete the set and have all 4 Grand Slams in his pocket, just like Carlos Alcaraz does, especially when Carlos is not going to be there to defend his title. So that should be really interesting. But I think right now Sinner is just on another level. Like, it'll be interesting. Like, I want to talk about a little bit the other male players who I think did so well in Madrid and came out swinging, like Arthur Fils, for example, who was off the tour for 8 months with an injury and was still able to come back, played so well, making semifinals, making finals, winning a title. It's been really impressive. And then he had to play Jannik Sinner, and you were like, it's just a different level. The way Fils was able to play against every other player on the ATP tour compared to how he played against Sinner, you're just like, okay, well, Sinner is in a different league at the moment. So that's, I think, is what's the issue, or not even issue, but definitely something that the ATP tour is going to have to start grappling with is, without Alcaraz, is this just a Sinner sweep? Is that how things are going to go? And maybe it is. Maybe it is. And we will see how long this streak continues, because it's definitely historic. And if there's one thing I love, it's a breaking of a record, and he's breaking all of them at the moment. Another player other than Arthur Fils that I wanted to mention was Alexander Blockx, because we didn't really talk about him in our last episode. And of all the next gen players who were in this draw and were making waves, I think Rafa Hodar definitely got a lot of, stories and talk and chatter about his future. Fonseca, as always, also had a bunch of chatter around him. Nobody was talking about Alexander Blockx, and yet he was making his way, winning matches in straight sets, and he is the one next-gen player who made it to the semifinals of the Madrid Open. And this kind of just brings me to one of my main topics over the past week is watch next gen. If this week in Madrid has taught you anything, it is watch the next gen, especially if you want to get to know who these players are and follow that journey from the beginning, and see them when they're young, and you can have that sort of bragging card, if you want to call it that, oh, I saw them when before they become the Carlos Alcarazes and the Jannik Sinners, and then you have to pay $10,000 to go see them at the final of the US Open. You can discover so many great names at tournaments like Next Gen. And I think a lot of people give Next Gen a bad rap because of the format. And I think that is so myopic of a view. It's not about the format, it's about the players. Next Gen has already been touted by the ATP as a tournament where they want to try new things, try things out that might translate to the main tour. A shorter shot clock, not having that much time between changeovers. Like, they've tried so much at Next Gen. Not everything makes it out of Next Gen, but they try it there first. And in terms of the format, I think a lot of people, the big thing for them is like, oh, they don't play till 6 games. They only play till 4 games. And I think we're missing the forest for the trees. And I think the best thing to come out of Next Gen are the players and watching these players develop. I also think they do the best documentary series. I think some of the ATP's best work has been the ATP Next Gen documentaries that come out every single year. One of my favorites is still from 2019. Francis Tiafoe was in that. I think Casper Ruud in that too. Like, it was just a great documentary series. I watch it again from time to time. I'll leave the link in the description of this podcast if you want to check it out as well. Carlos Alcaraz has won Next Gen. Jannik Sinner has won Next Gen. In fact, Jannik Sinner, that was how he sort of like came into being, because before that, I don't think he was touted to even win that tournament. He got in because he was a wild card. The tournament was being played in Milan back then, and he got the Italian wild card for the tournament and then went on to win it. He was eating carrots on the changeover, and that's how he got associated with carrots. So watch Next Gen. You'll know all the origin stories from then. Speaking of Next Gen, they are wrapping up their partnership with Riyadh. So the tournament has been held in Riyadh over the last 3 years. I saw reports that it is moving back to Italy. They haven't announced it officially yet, but apparently that is coming. So yeah, the Next Gen might be on the move. So that was Madrid. Really great tournament. Again, I do really enjoy Madrid. Even though they didn't have Carlos Alcaraz in the draw, they did announce, I saw they had record crowds this year. So tennis is booming. Tennis keeps growing. And it's nice to see a lot of people did show up to Madrid to watch the tennis. Other tournaments real quick that I watched last week. Aix-en-Provence. Aix-en-Provence is one of my favorite challengers. These challengers in France, Aix-en-Provence is in France, they get massive crowds. And the crowds in France are so fun to watch when you're watching tennis. You kind of get in the groove of all their cheering and all the stuff that they do, drums and everything. So it was really nice. But most importantly, it was nice to watch Ethan Quinn, who I think we can now call him officially. Ethan Quinn's a clay dog. Ethan Clay Dog Quinn. To see an American do so well on European clay is so few and far between. And if we want to get into the sort of discussion of when's, an American on the men's side going to win a Grand Slam again, you have to kind of consider all the Grand Slams. And one of the Grand Slams is on clay. Seeing American players do well on clay, it kind of gives you that hope of, hey, things are moving in the right direction, and this is something that could possibly happen in the future. You have players like Ben Shelton winning a title on clay in Munich, and now Ethan Quinn getting to the semis of Aix-en-Provence and playing what I would truly define as clay court tennis. I think all his matches hit over the 2-hour mark, and he played some really great players and really dug in there and won some matches. I think he was stopped eventually by Alejandro Tabio, who is a clay dog himself. So really great to see that. The tournament actually on the double side was won by Robert Cash and James Tracy, two former college players who played doubles together. And an American, and they won this tournament. They're actually the defending champions, so they defended their title from last year. So really great to see. And if you don't follow the off-season Instagram, first of all, you should. I'm going to be posting there a lot more now, introducing you to new players like Cash and Tracy, who joined Team Off-Season in Miami. So I got to film with them in Miami a lot. So stay tuned for those new episodes coming out. And I do want to get better at sort of sharing where the players are at in their season, what they're doing currently on the off-season Instagram as we ramp up to the new episodes that hopefully will be dropping at the end of the month of May. So stay tuned for that. So they defended their title, they won it, and also just wanted to bring up Zizou Bergs because I just love Zizou Bergs, and he did well at this tournament, winning a couple of matches, getting to the quarterfinals. He is the most stylish man on the ATP Tour. Every time he posts like a little carousel, I'm just like, I need to recreate that look. I need to recreate that look. He has this thing with bandanas right now, and I might just make this summer the bandana summer because they look so cool on him. But he's so cool. I brought it up, I think, last episode, his ATP tunnel walk. I think I brought it up last episode, but if I didn't bring it up the last episode, I probably put in Order of Play, which is our Substack that now comes out after the podcast is out every single week. So I'm also becoming a lot more regular on Substack. It's just a nice addition to the podcast. So it's a newsletter that if there's anything I forgot to mention on the podcast and I'm like, oh, I should have put that in, or just stuff that doesn't really fit in to the episodes, that will be in Order of Play. And you can subscribe for free to our Substack and get that in your inbox every single week. Or you can become a paying subscriber and help support the work we do here on Ground Pass. Before we move on to Rome, I do want to mention Stefanos Tsitsipas. He played a phenomenal match against defending champion Casper Ruud that, right on to the very last second, you just didn't know who was going to win that match. It was like seeing vintage Tsitsipas again, and that was really nice to see. If you've been following us here on Ground Pass, you know I call him one of the Lost Boys. If you don't know what the Lost Boys are Daniil Medvedev, Stefanos Tsitsipas, and Alexander Zverev. And I made a match stories video about them last year. I'll link it somewhere above here so you can check it out, of me explaining what the Lost Boys are and why I thought they were the Lost Boys. This year has been a better year for the Lost Boys. They're trying their best to make a comeback, but they still have a long way to go. Speaking of match stories, that might be making a comeback again. I think there's so much I want to do. There's so much I want to do with Ground Pass, but time, resources, it's tough. It's really hard. So we do what we can, we do our best, and hopefully everything will come together. But I'm trying to get Match Stories to make a comeback because I actually enjoyed making those videos, and kind of they were very much in the vein of an audio slash video opinion piece a bit on tennis stories that were happening based around matches. So stay tuned for more of that. We're in Rome, as Rafa said. We're in Rome, and the draw is out. I'm really excited for the women's tournament. I feel like, guys, until Alcaraz is back, I feel like we are going to be riding with the WTA. It has been great. I mean, over the last few years, I feel like the WTA has definitely been where a lot of the fun stories are at, and the draw came out and I looked at it and I was just like so excited. Anisimova back, Raducanu's back, Muchova is back. Really excited to see where their games are at, because those players have been off for a bit. Muchova not so much. I think she was literally just taking Madrid off to give her body a break because we know how brittle she can be. So a healthy Muchova is a great Muchova. So we're gonna hopefully hope that she is healthy and ready to go ahead of Roland Garros. Novak Djokovic is also back. He has been MIA for a while, but we know how it is. I think right now he's in the sort of wind down years. I think he plays the Grand Slams. He plays whichever tournament in between that he needs to sort of ramp up to a Grand Slam. So it'll be interesting to see what his form is like and how he is playing in Rome. Right now, currently qualifying is happening for Rome. You can watch it for free on, I don't think it's all the courts, but you can definitely watch 2 different courts for free on YouTube. I will leave the link to the Rome YouTube channel in the description of this podcast, and you can watch today. Well, by the time you're listening to this, you'll probably just have one more day of qualifying, but at least you'll have something to watch there. And then the main draw for the women starts tomorrow, and the main draw for the men starts on Wednesday. Excited to see how Rome goes. I think the conditions in Rome are closer to that of Roland Garros. So I think this is what is going to tell us how players are, or not tell us 100%, but at least give us an idea of how players possibly are going to show up in Roland Garros in Paris. Other news to wrap up, order of play. I think I talked about that already. So order of play will be coming out after this episode drops, so look out for it. I'll leave a link to our Substack in the description if you are not subscribed, so you'll just be able to subscribe easy from there. And of course, our merch store, it's live. It's only going to be live till May 11th because that's when the pre-orders will be over, and then the store will close, at least for the spring merch and then the special edition tee with Hailey Baptiste. There's still some stuff from last summer that is just going to be in the store till it sells out. It's discounted on sale. So if you want to get a piece of last summer, that is also there available for you. I think the pre-order route is going to be the best for us at this point, so that I'm not hoarding tons of shirts in this very, very small closet space that I have here. What's up next on tour? Rome. Rome is what is up next. Where are the off-season players? Ethan is in Rome. Elliot, unfortunately, had to withdraw from Rome, so he's still here in the States doing his rehab on his elbow. Colton has the week off and will be back in Europe next week. Camilla, unfortunately, lost this morning in qualifying, so she is not going to be playing Madrid. I actually didn't look to see if she was in the doubles draw, but I will look to see that. Well, I mean, the doubles draw isn't out yet, but she might be playing doubles in Rome. If not, she probably will be playing a challenger next week to prep for Roland Garros. And of course, Hailey is in Rome. She gets a bye in the first round because she's in the top 25 now and will be playing in the second round. So she probably will not be playing in Rome until maybe Thursday or Friday, one of those days. So yeah, that is it for this episode of Ground Pass. Thank you so much for joining. It's a little short and sweet one. We will see you next week for a full episode, and I will not say anything. We might be having a special guest. I cannot remember now if it's next week or the following week, but we might be having a special guest coming on soon. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much again for tuning into the podcast. Please like and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube, or if you're listening to us on a podcast player of your choice. Please give us a comment, leave a rating. All of these things really help a lot in the discovery of our podcast by other listeners. Also, simply sharing our podcast with other tennis lovers, people new to tennis who are trying to follow the tour and want an easy way to do that. It is all helpful. So thank you so much. Hope to see you again next week. Have a great week, friends. Bye.